And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Get together, have a few laughs.
Welcome to the Iowa Talk Guys. I'm your host, Erock.
I'm your host, Teepee. And I'm your host, Theo. And we're getting ready for the Iowa Caucus.
Yeah, we're gonna,
Caucus.
Let's get ready to caucus.
We're going to bring in some caucus information here.
Not the Iowa Caucus.
What? What's that all about?
Anyway. You don't know what a caucus is?
Yeah, of course I do. Oh.
You want to end up as one? Keep talking.
Okay.
Not you.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about candidates, some poll numbers, and yeah, just have a little discussion surrounding that. Well, as it stands, this is some January 2nd data from ABC News. I guess their outfit is called 538. It shows nationally President Donald Trump at 61.3%. Iowa, it shows him at a straight 50. Ron DeSantis, it shows him at 11.3 nationally, 18.4% in Iowa. Nikki Haley, 11.3% nationally, 15.7% in Iowa. Vivek
Ramaswamy.
4% nationally, 6% Iowa. Hot Dog Chris Christie, 3.8% nationally, 3.7% Iowa.
On January 10, 2024, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie announced that he would suspend his long-shot bid for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination.
And then Asa Hutchinson, what was he, like the governor of Arkansas or something? 0.6% nationally and 0.5% in Iowa. So, that's starting off the new year with the caucuses coming up.
Got a special birthday shout out.
What?
3 years now since January 6th to the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do actually
happy birthday to the insurrection.
I do actually have some notes on January 6th, some quotes from Joe Biden that I went through today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe we should play some then, huh? Are you coming up with some?
It ties into the election stuff.
Okay. Well, that's kind of what we're talking about.
Right.
So, thank God that AOC and Nancy Pelosi and everybody made it out of the Capitol before any harm was brought to them. You know?
Yeah, the video that I watched of President Biden. In fact, why don't I just get into the quotes right now? Let's just talk about Biden a little bit. This is how good we are. I haven't seen any national poll numbers. So, who really gives a shit, frankly?
Yeah, I think it's all
a show.
It's all, as Rand Paul said, it's all theater.
So,
good sir.
Yeah, it is all theater. So, I watched a little bit of a speech that Biden gave today and some quotes from it. Trump did nothing on January 6th. That's not true. I specifically remember him doing a online television broadcast saying, "Stop it, leave."
Nah, dude, he jerked the wheel on that limo.
He also said, "Imagine
go gadget arm."
President Biden also said, "Imagine having gone out and said stop." He made a video saying, "Stop, leave, don't go any further."
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great and go home in peace.
Yeah, that was his last social media post.
Probably
before they kicked him
heavily
off.
advised by his lawyer. Good call.
So that is not true. Yeah, no crap. How many lawyers? He had more than one lawyer that was like, you need to get online, say something now.
Right now. They're setting you up. We should really get some experts on the show and go into January 6th because that's the new 9/11 dude who's an inside job. Just that's what they meant when they said this is.
What about October 7?
Huh?
What about October 7?
Yeah, that was Israel's 9/11 event.
So
some people did some things.
He quoted a Capitol police officer that said it was a medieval battle. It was like a medieval battle. And that same officer was called racist names, wild racist names, is what President Biden said. This is a direct quote I wrote down. He was more afraid. I thought about you, Teepee. Since you're the veteran. He was more afraid in the Capitol of the United States of America, in the chambers, than he was fighting as a soldier in the war in Iraq.
Wow. That sounds like it must have been pretty intense.
Yeah. Like Fallujah or something in there. It's like, people driving techs in there and stuff. People driving Toyota Helixes in there and whatnot.
The video.
50s mounted on the back.
Maybe we can see if we can get Pat Miletich back on the show and see if he wants to talk about January 6th, since he was there. Did you feel like you were in a complete onslaught outside the Capitol? Is that what it looked like? It was like Lord of the Rings, dude. I keep bringing up Lord of the Rings. Sorry. Is it like when the hordes of orcs came through to destroy the Ice Tower?
Flesh.
Yeah. From the videos that we've seen now, I mean, the narrative that was given to everybody is 100% false.
I remember watching it that day and getting pretty amped up and then thinking, oh man, this is going to backfire so bad.
Dude, I had a feeling it was horse shit right off the bat as soon as it started. I remember my cousin texted me. He was like, this is pretty wild, right? I was like, yeah.
There were videos of Capitol Police waving them in right away.
Right.
We saw it.
And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed nobody got tarred and feathered because this is a joke. And then the stories were coming out immediately. You started having, like, AOC was like, I almost died. I had to crawl through dead pig guts to get out of the Capitol alive.
So that was something that Joe Biden said in that video as well, was like, somebody was screaming for Nancy's life. Wanted to kill Nancy.
Nancy!
David DePepe?
Where are you?
Was he there? Was it DePepe?
And then,
where's Nancy?
And then Donald Trump jokes about where's Nancy.
How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
Because of Paul Pelosi. What happened to Paul Pelosi?
My feelings. He's the same guy that said he...
By the way, who is David DePepe? Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I wonder, where is David DePepe?
Where
in the world is David DePepe?
November 16th, 2023. ABC News.
And the verdict is out. David DePape, the 43-year-old man that admitted to attacking Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, breaking into their apartment and bludgeoning him with a hammer, has been found guilty on 2 counts: attempted kidnapping of a federal officer or employee and assault of an immediate family member of a federal official. Let's get straight to our ABC News contributor, Terry Austin, for more on this. Terry, here's what's interesting. He at first was not saying anything, and then surprisingly took to the stand, breaking down in tears, saying that it was never his intention to hurt Nancy Pelosi's husband, but he was angry that his plot was ruined to videotape a conversation he wanted with the House Speaker about the election outcome, and the jury they didn't feel any sympathy for him. Clearly,
we should get Chris on here. Rained out, shout out, rained out Rantcast.
He's been hitting it hard, man.
Yeah, he's been doing some real good work.
Yeah, he
does his homework.
Yeah, he puts everybody to shame.
Yeah.
I mean, just getting in it.
It's a shame that I think he's shadow banned heavily, though.
Oh, I'm sure. But so are we, which is why I've probably been able to see his shit lately. And it's on fire. So shall we get into these candidates?
If you want, we already kind of got into how they're all bullshit.
All right, so yeah, we know what's going on with Donald Trump. I literally have absolutely nothing written down on him.
He hasn't been to any of the debates, dude. I don't know what's going on.
He's in Iowa today.
He's been charged. Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
As of this recording?
What? Clinton, Iowa.
Clinton, Iowa. Not too far from us.
And Newton.
Driving over to Newton. Or flying, maybe.
Interesting.
So Jeeves gives us a little update.
Yeah.
I'll let Fox News explain this one. January 11th, 2024.
Republican presidential candidates hoping to unseat President Joe Biden are in Iowa, trying to persuade undecided voters, but there's one candidate who's not there. Former President Donald Trump. Fox's Mills Hayes is live for us in Des Moines, Iowa. So, Mills, the question here tonight, why isn't the former president in Iowa campaigning?
Hey, Anthony. Well, former President Donald Trump is not in Iowa today. He was in a New York courtroom where he spoke at the end of his civil fraud trial. Many Iowans here tell me that if they're not 100% for Donald Trump, then they're looking at DeSantis or Haley. And many of the people I spoke with today tell me they are ready for a fresh face in the White House. But there's still a lot of love in Iowa for the former president. Latest Fox polling shows former President Trump is leading in the Iowa caucuses, fighting for second place as former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Vivek Ramaswamy is at the back of the pack. The battle between the top two Trump alternatives is getting hostile. DeSantis blasted Haley's record as governor of South Carolina. Haley shot back, creating a DeSantisLies.com fact-checking site. The race got smaller Wednesday when former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie dropped out. He was caught on a hot mic dissing Nikki Haley, something her supporters found insulting.
She's going to get smoked, and you and I both know it.
There are some Iowans, as you guys heard, that are turned off by former President Trump because of all of his legal battles, but there is also a lot of support for him, and many tell me that his legal troubles have actually intensified their support for the former president. They've got just 4 more days until Monday when the voters will make a decision. In Des Moines, Mills Hayes, Fox 26 News.
Thanks.
He is leading everybody by a wide margin, as we read earlier. I think the charges are just helping him. What is it, like 60 some odd federal and state charges now?
Well, and how many other states now are trying to take him off the ballot? I saw
which
Illinois, Massachusetts.
Maine did, and Colorado's in like their Supreme Court.
Right.
As we're speaking. And of course, everybody's aware of our delay. Maine did, and there's all sorts of photos of that Secretary of State that did that, or Attorney General or whatever that did that with like Obama and Biden, and
oh yeah,
she's a total like partisan.
Kool-Aid. She's helping mix the Kool-Aid up to give it to everybody else.
Yeah, fanatic.
Interesting. Weird.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the story, and I think that the people that are behind Donald Trump know it's all BS. So I mean, we know it's all BS.
Yeah, and I'm not even behind Donald Trump,
right?
But I think they must be super scared of this guy if they're willing to do all this stuff, dude. And this is like totally uncalled for. I thought this was America.
We've known that the whole time, but that is what makes me wonder, is this all part of it?
Or the game they're playing?
And I know that some of our podcast brethren would probably laugh at the fact that we're even questioning that. But, that's just what we're doing. I don't know.
Who's laughing?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
But, yeah. It's probably all a show. But maybe they want to really throw a guy in jail, too. I mean, it wouldn't hurt their feelings. They'd feel good about it. They'd sleep just fine after Nancy drinks all of her cocktails.
Her wine.
Her fine wines.
Yeah.
From the Napa Valley.
And then eats her delicious ice creams.
Yes. After dinner at French Laundry. With Gavin.
Yeah, that's crazy. That whole thing is wild.
So, some notes on numero dos. Governor Ron DeSantis, Florida governor. He claims that Trump did not do enough to help January 6ers when he had the chance. Yes, that's true. Even though I think Ron DeSantis is a turd. And NBC was pissed off that he didn't do enough to condemn the January 6ers.
Well, who gives a shit what they have to say?
Yeah.
They're supposed to report the news, not give me their fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody's like that now, though. We're giving you our opinion.
They were very adamant about the fact that he was smearing Nikki Haley, but not Donald Trump. Oh. And he's also got the Thomas Massey, right? Kentucky. He's like the libertarian-ish Republican from Kentucky.
Yeah.
He's got and then Chip Roy, I think he's got a border district down in Texas. He's got their endorsements.
All right.
Ambassador Nikki Haley. She's been meeting with a lot of Wall Street and big money donors. Vivek has been really getting on her ass about that. She was a Tea Party candidate, apparently, when she came in as the governor of South Carolina. And
didn't we talk about that when we covered her on the...
Well, yeah, but we remember the Tea Party was just shallow. They're pissed off that Obama beat McCain bullshit. Is all that ever was.
Oh, yeah.
There was no depth to it. But she claimed that
I'm sure there's some depth to it. Just follow the money.
Yeah. Well, she claimed that she is not beholden to these donors.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, remember, so she is the Internet Digital ID proponent. We talked about that. And this is really funny. She told I watched her say it. She told New Hampshire voters that Iowa goes first, and New Hampshire corrects it.
You know Iowa starts it. You know that you correct it. You know that you continue to go.
Oh, really?
Hey, props to New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a cool state, actually.
Except for Nikki.
Yeah, well, she's South Carolina, and her name is actually...
Nimrata?
Yeah, Namrata.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I actually got the names of some of the donors. Reid Hoffman, apparently he's a billionaire, is like one of the LinkedIn guys.
Oh, okay.
So, and a big Democrat.
Yeah, shocker.
Vivek slammed her and claimed that he's like a Soros boy.
Maybe I'll have to look into him.
So no wonder he loves Nikki Haley, because she's right up that alley. Frank Locking, some New Hampshire billionaire. Jamie Dimon likes her more than Trump, although he hasn't given any money to her. You know, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that Reid Hoffman guy gave her $250,000. Vivek is going after her hardcore strong. And then my notes to round this off are on Chris Christie. He likes hot dogs, his little boys' baseball games, and talking crap to men at them. If you remember that clip from like 6 years ago.
Yeah. That's been making his way.
Hot dog Christie.
I just saw the video of him dancing.
Yeah?
Did he do the hot dog?
Did he have a hot dog in his hand?
No.
With like the little white wrapper in the background?
But he had a pretty big fupa.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
Halfway up his...
He had the 40s belt line going on so that he could hold his size 56s up. Turd face.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Sorry, excuse my language.
Yeah, we're not here to fat shame anybody.
No, but that dude's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that was in Milwaukee that he did that. That dude in Milwaukee should have stood up and been like, hey, dude, get your fat ass back to New Jersey.
Yeah, get out of my state.
Seriously. Go back to the East Coast, turd. I don't care if your son's playing here.
Right. All right, we moving on now?
Yeah, are we going to get to this South Africa deal?
The genocide?
Well, David DeCamp from antiwar.com, January 4th. Headline reads, White House slams South Africa's genocide case against Israel. The White House on Wednesday slammed South Africa's genocide case against Israel that was filed at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, one of the UN's top courts based in The Hague. When asked about the 84-page lawsuit South Africa has filed against Israel, White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said, quote, "We find this submission meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis in fact whatsoever." Remember Crocodile Tears Kirby? He's the one that, you know.
You look in that guy's eyes, there's nothing there.
Yeah, I know.
He's got no soul.
Except when, after October 7th, right? These are human beings. These are people. You know, when it happened.
The guy looks at everybody like they're stupid.
Yeah, he was a naval officer, right?
I'm not going to answer that question simply because you're a moron.
Yeah. He is a soulless demon.
Demon, damn to hell!
I just look in the guy's eyes and it just looks like there's nothing. It's just there's no light in there, dude.
Don't you have to be like that to be a national security advisor? Look at Victoria
Probably.
Nuland.
Yeah, no
She
kidding.
just looks evil, bro.
No kidding.
Jake Sullivan looks like he has one of those Lowe's sheds out in his backyard, and he just has like gutted cadavers hanging in it, like a meat locker.
Just for fun.
Just like,
to have them.
Oh, hey, Carl. He looks over the fence. The neighbor. Yeah.
I get these from the university. Don't worry. Just some weird shit. Just my collection of cadavers.
Yeah. So, the article continues. If Israel is found guilty of genocide by the ICJ, it would implicate the U.S. as it's providing weapons and political cover for Israel's operations in Gaza with no conditions or red lines.
No.
Yeah, no crap.
No.
The U.S. has also justified Israel's attacks on civilian areas and has shrugged off the massive civilian casualty rate as the price of the operation.
That's sick. Once again, this is why John Kirby is soulless.
Yeah, no, we are talking about, at this point, it could be tens of thousands of women, children, non-combatants.
A Friday report said 30,676 Palestinians have been killed since.
30,000?
I mean, because we did report
civilians.
We did report earlier. That's astounding. We did report earlier that Israel essentially bombed out that southern exit into Egypt.
Right.
So there's no way into Egypt.
Or no way out of Gaza.
Right.
There's no way to get out of Gaza right now.
Yeah.
You can try by ship, but you're going to get destroyed by a boat. You're going to just get shredded by the Israeli Navy.
Yeah, absolutely wild.
So, yeah. So maybe I'm being over dramatic, 100,000, but who knows, dude? That's what I'm saying.
12,000 children, 6,000 women.
Dead.
241 healthcare workers.
Since October 7th.
105 journalists.
Unreal.
A further 58,960 have been wounded.
So once again, it's terrorism when Russia does it to Ukraine, when Russian PMCs do it to Ukraine, but it's just the price of the operation when Israel does it to Gaza.
Well, because they got attacked.
Okay.
They got attacked, man.
All right. I get your point.
Hey,
You're right.
look, we say this all the time. People buy this shit, bro.
Yeah, it's...
People buy it. They look at, hey, you know what? Look at the evangelical Christian community.
Yeah.
Like a dog drinking out of a water bowl. I'm sorry, I hate to be that way. That sucks,
you don't have
dude.
to apologize
but,
to me.
But
You're
you
right.
know exactly what I'm talking about.
You're not
We've
wrong.
Talked about this off air so many times. It's just they eat it up every time. And we've actually, even on this show, brought up scripture.
Right.
That is like, no.
So
No.
how many died on October 7th?
Israelis?
Mm-hmm. 1,139.
Okay, I thought it was like 1,000 something.
I mean, that's a heck of a hit.
So now they've done it 30-fold. I think they got it even.
Oh, they've still
But
got 1 million or so
is-
more to go.
For Netanyahu and his administration, this is not enough.
Well, don't they do that in baseball? When if you're beating the...
Yeah.
What inning do they call it? Okay.
But this is not a game.
No. This is, there will be no two-state solution.
And, you brought up, Theo, you brought up scripture. I can't help but to think, but, I'm pretty sure that this Israeli government were the same individuals that Jesus was flipping tables on at the temple, saying that you've turned my father's house into a den of thieves.
Yeah.
This is that's the same people.
They're not practicing Jews.
No. And you can see our buddy Drew Misson got in trouble for putting up the synagogue of Satan
on Instagram.
I think it was Instagram and Twitter.
What did it say?
I'm pretty sure it was Drew Misson. He just wrote about the scripture of those who say that they are Jews but they're not. They're
John's Revelation
synagogue. Yeah, they're the synagogue of Satan or something. Paraphrasing.
Those,
right?
yeah, beware the synagogue of Satan or something like that. Those who claim to be Jews, those who say they are Jews but are not.
Yeah. And I think you try to make
they will bow.
Made a correlation there.
They will bow
and
at your
then
feet.
the social medias did not like it at all. That's hate speech, apparently.
Yeah, why do they always go after the Bible and not the Torah? Like when they're going after like barbaric parts of the Old Testament, why do they always call it the Old Testament of the Bible and not the Torah?
Well, it's usually only stuff that Jesus says or his disciples.
Well, no,
I think,
I'm
right?
like even stuff in the Old Testament because it gets a little hairy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude, but
you know what I mean, though. It's like, well, hey, that's Judaism
because they don't shave.
They don't cut their locks.
Oh, Erock.
So
it's getting hairy.
Yeah, shit's happening there, dude.
I did want to bring this up real quick before we move off this article, that genocide is defined by Article 2 of the UN's Genocide Convention as, quote, a crime committed with the intent to destroy a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group in whole or in part, end quote. Intent to commit serious physical harm against a group needs to be shown to prove a state is guilty of genocide at the ICJ.
Well, hey, according to this Reuters article, Israel has called the genocide case, quote, baseless, unquote, and says Hamas is using Palestinians as human shields and stealing aid from them, accusations Hamas denies. Once again, who knows the truth?
Yeah, it's wild.
But remember when that time when Trump iced that freaking that Iranian commander?
Yeah.
With that drone strike in Baghdad?
Soleimani?
Yeah.
Not the one that died like a dog?
January 4th.
No, that you're talking al-Baghdadi, right?
He died like a dog.
Like a dog in a tunnel.
Yeah. That was
a coward.
So
surrounded with women and children.
That was January 4th, 2020 that happened, where he got vaporized by a drone strike. And what was Trump's reasoning for that?
So much dumb shit happens foreign policy wise. Can't keep track of it all. The United States.
It's because the Trump administration viewed Soleimani as a ruthless killer, and the president told reporters that the general should have been taken out by previous presidents.
Giving all sorts of weapons to proxies in Iraq and whatnot, or something like that.
Well, according to the Pentagon, quote, General Soleimani was actively developing plans to attack American diplomats and service members in Iraq and throughout the region, unquote.
Well, it'd cause a stir, wouldn't it?
So that he had to be taken out and absolutely wasted.
Yeah, he was. He didn't feel a thing.
Well, and then, so fast forward to January 4th, 2024, 4 years later, and there's an explosion. A couple explosions in Iran.
Right.
That killed over 100 people. This one, ISIS claims responsibility, according to this dailysignal.com by Jack Smith, January 4th, 2024. The terrorist group ISIS has claimed responsibility for the bombing on Wednesday in Iran that killed dozens and injured hundreds. Multiple bombs went off in the southern Iranian city of Kerman during an anniversary memorial service for Iranian terrorist. I like how he wasn't a commander, he was a terrorist. Qasem Soleimani, killing at least 73 and injuring hundreds of others. ISIS, also known as the Islamic State, claimed responsibility for the attack in a statement the terrorist group posted Thursday. So, very interesting. And I guess the death toll now, and we'll have Jeeves update because there was a bunch wounded. It's like 103, like 200 plus wounded.
2 bombs exploded and killed at least 84 people and wounded at least 284 people. An earlier death toll of 103 was twice revised lower, after officials realized that some names had been repeated on a list of victims, and due to the severity of wounds suffered by some of the dead, health authorities said. However, many of the wounded were in critical condition, so the death toll could rise.
It's a lot.
Israel and the U.S. both are like, oh no, that's terrible. We would never do such a thing.
What can we do to help?
Who would even think of such a ruthless, brutal act? We don't have any agencies that are trained in clandestine operations to do such things and pull off such attacks, especially if it's psychological warfare department. We don't have that.
Plus, we'd never waste time meddling in Iran.
Yeah, we would never do that. We learned our lesson
when we overthrew their government in 1953.
Yeah, and then they overthrew our dictator in
What was that, 73? The hostages were taken or something like that?
The Iran hostage crisis lasted from November 4, 1979 to January 20, 1981. A total of 444 days.
So, yeah, really weird. Really weird. But did you guys happen to see that clip? Who was it? Like a congressman or state rep or whatever? He was talking about, oh yeah, this happens all the time where people, these statesmen go out of town and they go to a bar and a very attractive lady or man comes up to him and starts talking to him and laughing at all their jokes, and they're having drinks together, and one thing leads to another, and you go back to their room. And then a few weeks later, a well-dressed man comes up to you on the Senate floor and says, hey, I need you to vote no on this or yes on that, because otherwise I have these photos, very compromising photos of you that your family would not want to see.
Republican Congressman Tim Burchett.
You're visiting, you're out of the country or out of town, or you're in a motel or bar in D.C., and some, whatever you're into, women or men or whatever, comes up and they're very attractive and they're laughing at your jokes and you're buying them a drink. Next thing you know, you're in the motel room with them naked. And next thing you know, you're about to make a key vote. And what happens? Some well-dressed person comes up and whispers in your ear, hey man, there's tapes out on you. And then you're like, uh-oh, and said, you really ought not be voting for this thing.
You don't want little Bobby to see a picture of mommy banging some guy behind daddy's back, do you?
Yeah, or daddy banging behind mommy's back.
Or the whole country.
Did you hear about Nikki Haley? She had an affair back in 2010.
Yeah.
Namrata?
I wonder if it was one of these operations.
Was it a Boeing guy? Was she getting the Boeing from the Boeing? The Boeing from the Boeing? The Boeing?
So yeah, on Twitter, Laura Loomer posts, Nikki Haley extramarital affair. Did you know an affidavit was signed in 2010 by a man named William Folks, who says he had an affair with Nikki Haley, who was married and was married at the time. Another man named Larry Merchant signed an affidavit in 2010 also documenting Nikki Haley's affair with him. So two men signing affidavits under oath.
Nikki's getting around.
Wow. Well,
apparently her husband was deployed.
They were Jodies.
Thank you for your service.
What's a Jody?
We explained that before. Jody is your wife's boyfriend when you're deployed.
Oh.
Yeah. Freaking hoe. So, that's interesting. Surprisingly, I wonder if those are one of these honeypot operations. So, back in November, like I was saying before earlier, we talked about it. There was that in Washington, D.C., they busted that Asian sex ring that had all those high-end politicians and stuff. It was like a little blip on the radar for very briefly. Well, now, fast forward here a couple months. This is a Daily Mail article. High-end sex ring in Boston and D.C. areas were honeypot schemed by Russia, China, South Korea, or even Israel to ensnare U.S. officials, intelligence experts believe.
But they're our friends.
Yeah, why would they do that? That's like the U.S. Why would they spy on Germany on, what's her name?
Merkel?
Merkel. Yeah.
Von der Leyen.
This is a January 3rd, 2024 article. Investigators believe a network of high-end brothels operating in the Boston and D.C. areas were a honeypot trap to ensnare politicians and government officials. But whether the plot was intended to aid Russia, China, South Korea, or even Israel remains to be determined. Clients believed to include members of Congress, military officials, and national security contractors, and have not yet been unmasked or charged.
I mean, these guys just go out, oh, hey, honey, yeah, I got to leave town for the week and go to Boston. Oh, yeah, well, it's just going to be me and Chip in the room together. Or no, Chip's got a room right next to me, and
yeah, because the government doesn't pay for our own hotel rooms.
Like they've got adjoining rooms, and the doors open, and Chip's got one honeypot in one room, and
and they're trading them.
Jack's got one in the other. Yeah,
like Fang Fang.
So if you see my heart rate,
like Fang, that's an excellent thing to bring up, bro.
Jack's
the alleged Chinese spy that Eric Swalwell, Congressman Eric Swalwell.
Yeah. That he was sleeping with for
Fang
years.
So Fang Fang, entered the U.S. from China as a college student in 2011 and allegedly spent the next 4 years wooing lawmakers to get close to sensitive government intelligence, including Swalwell.
Sleeping with A congressman on the House Intelligence Committee.
Nice. Yeah. Sex sells, huh? Yeah, getting back to this article, intelligence experts are becoming increasingly convinced that 6 high-end brothels in the suburbs of Boston and Washington, D.C. were set up by a foreign nation as an espionage honey trap. Trying to get Winnie the Pooh. Isn't that how Randy got him in China?
Oh, what delicious honey. I would like to share, Piglet. Perhaps I will share. In just a few more slurps, I can. What are you doing?
Anyways, they believe the brothels, allegedly masterminded by a 41-year-old South Korean woman, targeted politicians, high-ranking government officials, and defense contractors.
I bet she has strong hands.
So back in November, when they first popped this open, they just had the one that they reported on in Washington, D.C. They found. Yes, and they brought this woman up. But the mystery in which country was behind the scheme, Russia, China, Korea itself, or even Israel, are all seen as possibly being behind the scheme. Having the Koreans out front could have been a false flag to give China or another country plausible deniability if the plot unraveled, a one-time CIA senior operative officer told DailyMail.com in an exclusive interview. The brothel was raided in November. 28 people they're looking to charge 28 people in Massachusetts alone, and they apparently show a bikini-clad models in this photo. But,
some young Asian ladies.
Yeah. Erock and I think I've seen enough AI images to know that this is definitely AI. You can tell that's totally AI. It looks
but it does say that it's like the modeling photo.
Yeah.
It's like the NASA photos of outer space.
AI generated, computer generated images. When it looks like a anime picture that some computer image turned into trying to do a realistic photo. Isn't that what that looks like? It looks like these women were made in a cartoon.
Well, there's a big anime porn fetish thing out there.
There is, unfortunately, but hey, I guess that's better than being a pedophile. That's way better. I'd rather have people jerk off to cartoons made in China and Japan and stuff than touch children, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Nice, yeah.
There's way more fucked up shit out there. You could be attracted to pigs.
I'm sure there's a whole category for that.
There's probably a lot of weird stuff out there that we have no idea what's going on. And I'm okay with that. Anyways. So that's pretty, apparently there's brothels all over, dude. They found 2 brothels in Virginia. Pretty wild. But speaking of honeypot operations, you think maybe Epstein Island and Epstein's apartment and all that stuff? Think that was some honeypotting going on?
For Mossad? Yeah, for Israeli intelligence. I think that's what it was.
Well, what they have on Stephen Hawking?
Evidence that he took a flight, right?
If that guy was even real.
We're about to see because we have the unredacted flight logs.
Well, so they did have a handicap accessible ramp come down.
On the plane? Mm-hmm. Nice. Just for Steven. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that was just a vegetable they were pushing around in a cart doing amazing physics. Theoretical physicist god of theirs, of science, god of science. Right? I mean, the guy had ALS. Your best chances of living are like 5 years.
I mean, I guess
only the top 5 people, 5% of people ever diagnosed with ALS have lived over 20 years or up to 20 years or a little more. The dude lived with it for like 49 years or something crazy.
I guess the only silver lining is God didn't take away his ability to get it up.
Yeah, well, and I like the fake rumors that came out right away where he was having midgets do math equations on a chalkboard.
I bet there's a lot of people that think that's still real.
I bet they do. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was bullshit. I'm like, no way, this is real. But it's funny.
I was invited to give a lecture on my new theory of gravity.
So yeah, if you're following our Instagram, you notice we shared some stuff on there about it.
These are like the entirety of the flight log, so I didn't...
You had to really read through it?
Yeah, I didn't take the time to... I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell's name has already come up like 24 times.
What, the Clinton likes him young?
Is that really surprising, though? Like, the names... Yeah, start just naming off some names there, Theo, if you want. Because most of them, they're the usual suspects. Everybody Q said was on there is on there, huh?
I mean, Bill Clinton's on here. 63 results. 36 results for Alan Dershowitz. Alan or Dershowitz, but they're on here. He's like a Harvard lawyer. He's always on TV. And I just saw a thing where he recently said that the age of consent should be changed to 14.
Alan Dershowitz wrote on Twitter on July 29, 2019. I stand by the constitutional, not moral, argument I offered in my controversial, 1997, op-ed. If a 16-year-old has the constitutional right to have an abortion, without state or parental interference, how could she not have the constitutional right to engage in consensual sex? Dershowitz meant sex with older men.
What?
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
Gates came up 0 times.
Well, wasn't there a redacted name?
I mean, I pulled up Bill and Bill Clinton. Bill Band.
Was Jimmy Kimmel?
Is he going to sue Aaron Rodgers now? Or is Aaron Rodgers going to sue him? Hey, asshole.
It's not coming up.
Bummer.
Anyway, interesting. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't know if that is to throw people off, or I don't know if other stuff is to throw people off of that.
Did you hear about Whoopi Goldberg denying?
Yeah, I saw.
Well, did you see? She's like, I guess I was on there. I don't know.
Saw that clip of her on The View.
There was a fake list. Yeah. And I'm on it.
So you were on the island?
I was apparently, I don't know. They said I was on the island. They said, I'm like, I don't go anywhere.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Sister Mary Clarence. Remember that?
Sister Act?
Sister Act.
Oh, yeah.
Sister Mary Clarence.
It's better than sex.
What?
So I heard.
Well, if they could wheel Stephen Hawking on, they could have wheeled her on the plane. But maybe when she landed, Epstein Island would have tipped into the ocean like that congressman from, or was it?
Yeah, it was a congressman.
Saying
Talking about Guam.
Guam. Play the clip.
Would capsize.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
I think that Teepee's glasses are fogging up from all of this talk about Whoopi Goldberg and Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, dude, I have a fetish for people.
Ugly ones.
Ugly people, yeah. I don't know. All the A-listers named in the newly unsealed Jeffrey Epstein documents by Olivia Land and Nikki Mascali-Rorty. January 4th, 2024. Dozens of high-profile names, including royalty, politicians, and famous scientists, appeared in an avalanche of previously sealed court documents related to Jeffrey Epstein that were released late Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. The drove of papers filed in Epstein's accuser Virginia Jeffries' 2015 defamation suit against the dead sex offender's Madame Ghislaine Maxwell included references to Prince Andrew, former President Bill Clinton, and Stephen Hawking, among other major figures. So, the Prince Andrew thing we've known for a while, and he tried denying it back in 2015.
Yes, that's because that's odd that
I couldn't
somebody
sweat.
said that he was sweating because from an ailment that happened in the Falklands, his service.
Stop. He couldn't sweat
because of an ailment from the Falklands campaign.
Right.
So automatically,
because of post-traumatic stress,
automatically the story does not add up.
Yeah, I couldn't sweat all over her like a horn church, like you said.
Erock, you remember that?
Nah, I'm just picturing Sean Connery in my head.
Oh yeah,
No,
well,
that's Prince Andrew. He does have a very deep voice.
No, you're
Yeah, absolutely rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yes, it's false. As he's sweating on the camera, I couldn't back them though. Yeah, that's how I know she's full of shit.
The royal physician deemed it so.
Yeah, the little Tussie was asking for it, and then it shows a picture there when they're. I think that was in the London picture when they're staying outside that doorway. I think that was one of the Mossad safe houses or something they were at.
Young gal.
They look happy.
Yeah, I bet you would be happy too if you're on drugs, being manipulated. That's the other thing, dude. They had that show on Netflix for a while, the Jeffrey Epstein one. Did you ever watch that?
No, but a ton of people did, right?
Yeah, it was a limited one, and there's a lot of info on there about this stuff.
Former President Bill Clinton's name appears 73 times.
Shocker.
Nice. Donald Trump, 4 times. Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard lawyer. Allegedly, Epstein forced Jane Doe 3 to have sexual relations with his lawyer, former Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, when she was a minor. We got Stephen Hawking on here. Al Gore, when he's not busy, talking about the ice caps melting and the sea levels rising, he's
Or Man Bear Pig.
meeting underage women, underage girls.
It's to stop the climate change. That's what he's doing.
Chelsea Clinton?
It says, yeah, Maxwell attended the wedding of Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bill Richardson, remember that? Former New Mexico governor. I think he ran for president in 2008.
Yeah, yep. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Speaking of New Mexico, Epstein's Zorro Ranch was a sprawling, 8,000-acre property outside of Santa Fe, where some women and children accused him and Ghislaine Maxwell of sexually abusing them.
Michael Jackson. David Copperfield.
People are already, they were immediately
surprise,
like,
surprise.
It wasn't Michael, you leave Michael alone.
Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, George Lucas, Naomi Campbell, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cate Blanchett.
So hold on, Kevin Spacey, is that really a big surprise? And he's got all the other people that were saying that he was sexually assaulting them. Although the witnesses ended up dead and shit. Remember that?
You can't expect me to remember what happened drunk at a cocktail party 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, he just had some cases.
Yeah, there are people ending up dead around that guy.
Yeah.
We ought to be careful.
Well, Jane Doe number 3 better be careful too. Messing with old Kevin Spacey.
Well, David Copperfield, he can just disappear.
Oh yeah, he showed him. You want to see this magic trick? You come over here and touch this thing, stuff comes out.
Somebody saw a picture of Maxwell with the Pope.
Yeah. He was a Jesuit priest. He was the CIA of freaking the Vatican. Mossad of the Vatican.
Ken Starr, he was Solicitor General. Wasn't he a big deal during the Monica Lewinsky thing?
I don't recall.
Cameron Diaz and Bruce Willis. Too bad Bruce can't remember.
George Lucas? Did you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Disappointing, isn't it?
Not really. It's not surprising, too. Especially since they sold off Star Wars to Disney.
If Epstein was smart, he would have gave them all STDs.
Only the ones he didn't like. Maybe he did.
That's why Bruce Willis.
Give the dirty ones to these guys.
Would
like
that be
syphilis, like freaking Al Capone or some shit.
Yeah. MK Ultra continues. Yeah. Well, for all we know, dude, and like I said, so when they searched Epstein's apartments and stuff, they found that there was like hidden cameras in rooms and stuff like that, but the cameras were like all the data and everything was gone.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. So that very easily could have been a honeypot operation by our own government or Mossad, like where all the other arrows are kind of pointing. Because
sounds like it.
I saw something. I have to do a little more research into it. Maybe I'll have Jeeves do a quick update. But Anthony Blinken is the stepson of the lawyer of Ghislaine Maxwell's daddy-o.
Samuel Pisa, the stepfather of Biden regime, Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was a close confidant and lawyer for Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell. Blinken's stepfather was reportedly the last person to speak to Maxwell, before he mysteriously fell to his death, off the Lady Ghislaine, while cruising near Spain's Canary Islands, in 1991.
These people are all interconnected. You know, they all mingle with each other and rub elbows and drink champagne and eat caviar together.
Yeah. Whiskey, Beer, and Conspiracies had a guest on a few weeks ago that he was saying the same thing, dude. Like, Republicans and Democrats, they don't hate each other. They just do this on the freaking political stage for us, for the theater. And in the back, they're shaking hands. They're making backdoor deals, insider trading, freaking...
That's all
whatever.
Any of this election cycle bullshit is.
Orgies together and shit.
Coke-induced parties and underage girls and...
Yeah. Can't wait till... Shout out Agent X. Can't wait till he gets out of his job so he can come on the show. If he's listening. If he can come on the show and tell us some good old stuff.
Shout out Agent X.
Yeah. Well, if you like the show, please like, follow, subscribe, share word of mouth. It's the best way to do it, to get it out there.
It is. Tell all your friends.
Yeah. Website. New website's coming. It's going to be awesome. Rumble's coming. We got to do that manually now since YouTube sucks. It's just going to take forever.
No, I just think the volume of people migrating over there is just taking them a while to do the migration.
To get
all the YouTube stuff. Like a big waiting list or something.
Yeah. So... that's coming. We got more in the future. We got some more shows coming up with 643 Conspiracy and Sunday Night Secret Society.
That's right.
We possibly have a show coming up in the future. Another one with Whiskey, Beer, Conspiracy. Shout out to you boys.
That would be awesome.
And yeah, you want to come on the show or you want us to come on your show? Drop us a line. You know how to get a hold of us.
At iowatalkguys.com, you can find all that.
You can find all that. You can follow us on Twitter.
X at Iowa Talk Guys.
On Instagram at Iowa Talk Guys _podcast.
At YouTube at Iowa Talk Guys.
And get 50% off at merchforliberty.com with the promo code ITG.
Tell them Teepee sent you.
Tell them, yeah. Go check out Dr. Slater, Murphy, and Davenport if you're around that area. Tell them the Iowa Talk Guys sent you.
Get a little frequency healing.
That's right. So, always remember...
don't eat the yellow cake.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
And don't have sex with Asian hookers.
Why Asian ones?
Might be a honeypot operation.
From China.
Or South Korea.
Iowa Talk Guys.
Out.
Hi, good night, everybody. And I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here. So thank you very much. Very nice. Appreciate it.